so.
Mr. Hart, you got the bills, please?
Yes. She's still taking over.
Never asked for it. Okay, Council, we ready?
Yep.
Let's get the show on the road here. Please stand for prayer and pledge of allegiance. Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day that you've given us and for the privilege we've had to assemble here in a democracy and do the will of the voters of the city. We pray for your guidance and your acceptance. We ask you special prayer for those who are sick and are shut-ins. Will you lay your healing hand upon them and comfort them in time of need? These things I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. The clerk would call the roll.
Phillips. Here. Wright.
Here.
Harp.
Here.
Flowers.
Here.
Avery.
Here.
Kennel.
Okay. Council, he knows Mr. Kennel is absent. He called me today and said he had to be out of town to take care of some family business. Motion to be in order to excuse him.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Harp, second by Wright to excuse Councilman Kennel. Any questions, comments? Clerk, call the roll.
Phillips. Aye. Wright.
Aye.
Harp.
Aye.
Flowers.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Kennel's excused. The solicitor is still in the hospital,
Yes, she's recovering.
and we should be in order to excuse her from tonight's meeting due to hospitalization.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Wright, seconded by Phillips. Get it? Huh?
He can't read
Questions or comments?
plaque. Give it a tilt.
And clerk, call the roll.
Phillips. Aye. Wright.
Aye.
Harp.
Aye.
Flowers.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Okay, solicitor's excused. Reading disposition of the minutes of the previous meetings. Council, what's your pleasure?
Mayor, I make a motion to accept the minutes from the January 8th council meeting and also the workshop that was held on January 15th as presented.
Second.
Motion by Harp, seconded by Flowers.
I know everybody moved. We don't know now.
Yeah, and I have to look around and see who's there. I
here.
recognize the voice. Any questions, comments?
On the third page, the Fireman's Dependency Board, I think it's Brian Bailey and isn't it Barry Schroeder? At the top there.
Yes. That will handle as a typo. B.J. Schroeder. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, clerk, call the roll.
Phillips.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Harp.
Aye.
Flowers.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Motion carries. Minutes are approved as presented. Citizens' comments. Any citizen wish to address council this evening? We're going to have an orderly meeting. Don't all speak at once.
It's your big chance, Carl.
Okay, reading and referring of communications and/or petitions. Any petitions to be presented to council tonight? Any communications?
The only thing I had, Mr. Mayor, was received information today from Mr. Donald Zimmerscheid. Anyway, it was he was interested. I think he's got the for Sebring High School whether or not the city wanted to put any advertisements on the athletic poster. I gave council a copy of that, each member. You can take a look at it and let me know what you think. Normally, I don't think you do those things, but I wanted to make sure. That's all.
Okay. Board of Council Committees and Council Representatives. Keep the right spot here so I don't mess this up since we're doing this new. Finance Committee, Mr. Hart.
Yes, Mayor, members of council. Finance Committee has not met since our last council meeting. Therefore, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the village manager to pay bills when funds become available for checks dated from 1/6/2018 through 1/19/2018 in the amount of $61,079.25.
Second.
Motion by Harp, seconded by Wright, to pay the bills when funds become available. Questions or comments?
Mayor, under questions or comments, as we usually have done, was to highlight those bills that were outstanding for that pay period, and they are as follows. $1,297.35 to AT&T phone service. $2,100 to Bonford Glass. That was to replace the back door of the PD that was in need of replacement. $3,318.78 to the Bureau of Compensation. $1,564.18 to a Cummins Brideway service at the wastewater treatment plant. And $1,462.95 to a Craig Mattis, and that was for postcards and utility forms for the water and sewer office. $4,181.74 to Direct Business Energy for electricity. $5,748.74 to Ohio Edison for electricity. $3,296.28 to James Scott Powers for fuel at the service department. $1,260.61 to AT&T for long-distance calls. $16,311.51 to Westfield Insurance for a commercial policy. $1,292.13 to Huntington Bank. That's the credit card payment. I do have a question on that too, Mr. Manager, if I could.
Sure.
There was $1,078 for tools for the fire department. We did buy tools initially. Are we buying them as needed or more? And so
I think it's pretty much as needed. I don't have the specifics on the tools. I did tell the fire chief that he does have 2 budget operations depending on, I mean, he uses the credit card because if it's out of town order, you know, if it's an online order, he will use the credit card, but technically what will happen is that money will be deducted from either his general fire tool account,
okay.
or it will come out of his EMS account if it's EMS related. But,
so amongst the fire fund, there is a tool account.
there are tool accounts in each of those, with exception, I mean, there is one in the fire levy fund too, but we do that, and it's usually just for capital, so, but there are tool accounts in both.
Okay. As I'm looking through the bills, I did see $1,000 through Harbor Freight out of Streetsboro.
Right.
You know,
It may be something that's specific that they can't get anywhere else for the fire service, and then he uses the credit card probably for an online purchase. And then what'll happen is we'll deduct that money from that tool line item and then reimburse the debit card accounts.
Okay. Mayor, that concludes my list of bills that were outstanding. I would also like to mention that last week after a meeting, and I don't want to take anything away from you, Ken, but you approached me for a...
Wait, we got a
I'm
motion
sorry.
on the floor.
I'm sorry.
Let's handle that.
We'll get that out of the way. And then this is way additional.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on the motion? Clerk call the roll.
Phillips.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Harp.
Aye.
Flowers.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Motion carries. Bills will be paid. Now, Mr. Hart.
Yes. After the last council meeting, Ken approached me with a request to have a combined finance and safety meeting, possibly scheduling it on January 31st, approximate time 4 p.m.
Yeah, if possible, if Marvin can
If
come
Marvin
and,
can, we can adjust.
and
Dave?
Dave,
What's that time again?
4 o'clock
Which?
on Wednesday, the
This
31st.
Wednesday. Oh, okay.
No, the 31st, next Wednesday.
If you need later time, we can move
Yeah.
it.
Let me get to you on that. I may be out of town.
Okay,
Okay.
Wednesday the 31st, I might be in Louisville, Kentucky, so
I see.
let me check.
Okay.
I can maybe move that.
Maybe move the date, Ken?
Mine. I can move my date.
Yeah, we can possibly, if he can't, then we can move the date to, my
Yeah.
only thing is I'm having surgery on the next day, so,
Oh.
so I could probably move it to the next week, but we'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
okay.
We'll figure it
There's
out.
no rush,
Monday
you
the
know.
5th.
You got
We have
a,
an extra week, Monday
you got a
the
5th Monday in this month.
We could do it the 5th, I might not feel great, but
No, the 29th.
the 29th,
Fifth Monday.
It's the 5th Monday.
5th Monday.
Or the
There was a
5th.
reason why I couldn't.
Or the 5th.
Okay,
We'll figure it out, Jeff.
Okay.
okay. That's
Let me
the
know.
projected, but personally, I would like everybody to be, for both committees, to be present, and job specifications come first for
Yep.
those that have other things. But we'll get it.
Okay.
And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Mayor, I have a question or a comment. Mr. Harp, I will not be able to attend the park board meeting in February, so I don't know if you want to go up there by yourself and make that presentation, or if you want to just wait and we'll postpone it to March. So that was something we decided in December, but I have a prior commitment on the 8th of February, which will be the next park board meeting. They weren't able to meet last
Right.
month, or this month, so,
be able to be
wow, absolutely.
But I'm more than willing to do that for you if that's,
But
you know,
what about March until they get their house in order?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I believe we should be getting a resignation from one board member there. That is the school board appointment. If we can't, we need to kind of force the issue with that because, I mean, he's not making any meetings. I mean, can't remember when they said the last time he was there, but it's been well over 3 meetings ago.
And the school board does have a person that is interested in being appointed, so.
I thought that was already done.
Yeah, I think they're working on that part of it, try to get that
we-
person to step down, so.
I see. Well, as Ken said, then I'm fine with waiting until.
Okay, till March?
until it's-
All right.
Yeah. and
That
then
sounds
we can
good to
look
me.
at it.
Okay, anything else under finance?
No, Mayor.
Legislative, Mr. Avery?
No meeting.
Capital improvements, Ms. Phillips?
No meeting, Mayor, but if I may, could I touch on a website update?
Certainly.
Okay. I did get an administrator login to look at our current website, kind of go in and see how the template and everything is set up. It is very basic. I'm a little concerned. I kind of looked at what I might be able to do. I don't know that we're going to be able to add as much as what we were looking to do. So I did email John from Better Built today with a list of kind of what we were looking to do and just asking, is that, do we have the ability to do that with what we have? Or if not, what would it take to get what we want on there? But we've also had, I think, 3 or 4 individuals, since seeing it in the paper, contact us about potentially talking to them also for sample sites. So I just wanted to let you know about that.
Very good, very good. If you recall, gentlemen, this was the topic of a pretty lengthy discussion of our workshop. And I made a comment then that I would like to appoint Ms. Phillips to head a one-person committee to see what she can do about revising our website. And I intend to do that right now, unless I have a rejection. Ms. Phillips, would you take that
Certainly.
under your wing and
Yes,
see if you can get that mess straightened out for us?
okay. I will work on it.
Thank you very much.
One person, you won't have to worry about a quorum.
That's right.
I'm hard on myself, so
Yeah.
don't worry.
Don't disappoint yourself.
Okay. Business annexation development, that was Mr. Kennel. Now would be a good time maybe for me to give you an update on our housing, where we're at. I brought it with me. Businesses, we still don't have the authority as a land bank to do commercial or industrial. Although there is a push being made in the state of Ohio to incorporate industrial and commercial, and it's being met with little to no opposition. So we've going to get some pictures of a couple of our commercial industrials that need to come down and get that over to our land bank folks and include it with the other ones from Mahoning County. The one business / residential that we have that is going to be coming down is the old bus station. And all the paperwork has been completed on that. They're doing the final title search right now. They don't anticipate finding anything, but before the land bank can accept it, they have to have a title search of record. And I've been assured that it'll go to the top of the list for demolition. So that's, and you had asked for a report, and the report, I believe I put in your boxes. 1, 2, there are 7 homes right now that have been cleared for demolition, and the land bank has the title for them. 3 homes have been redeemed by the owner or the guaranteed mortgage holder, paid the taxes up, and have been willing to recap the home and remodel the home. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 where the prosecutor's office is still doing a title search and notifying prospective or people who may have liens against the property other than the homeowner of record. So we're, right now we're standing at, I think we've submitted 15 initially, and I think we're going to have 12 of them coming down.
Wow, pretty good.
So we're doing okay with that.
Mayor, can I ask a question about a couple of these red homes that have come off the list?
Yes.
So like 626, they took the home down, but that's pretty much where they left it. So what are we doing about, I mean, it's nice that the taxes are paid and people are committed to doing the rehab, but are we just going to look at these continually? Or, I mean, I know the land bank
The land bank
doesn't have any jurisdiction,
they're out of it now.
but we as a community still have jurisdiction over making sure these properties are followed through with.
I haven't been up through there. You tell me the place is just laying on the
No.
foundation?
No, they took the house down completely. I think there's some wood still stacked up in the one corner, but, I mean, the whole house is down at 626, but I
Right.
think they were going to rebuild something there, but they have not issued any, we have not issued any building permits or anything like that, so.
It's just bare ground.
Well, it still has the foundation sticking out of the ground, because it has a basement under it.
Oh,
I mean, it had a basement under
So it
it.
has an open, there's an open hole where the basement,
No, it still has the floor on
floor,
it.
so that
Decking
okay.
still there.
It's just a rebuilt this summer, they said.
Okay.
But I don't want us to
Oh,
lose.
that's the
Yeah,
one-
the one right next to 616, yes,
Yes,
yes.
they're supposed to rebuild this summer.
Yes, it's the Quonset hut, yes. Yes, I just don't want to lose sight of these homes because they've dropped off the land bank list. I think we still need to stay after these people if they're gonna rehab, because I can just about imagine we've not issued any building permits for any of these homes that are redded out. 134 West Maryland and 496 West Maryland.
496 is being lived in.
Right.
Oh, it's being lived
It's
in.
already,
So
it's sold, bought.
It's met the occupancy.
Yeah, it's,
And 134 and 136 is a duplex over here, and this guy's been working, I assume he has his permits.
No, he's not had, the only permits that he had was for the front steps there, that was it.
Oh, well, he's put windows in and everything else. Yeah.
Is that West Maryland?
Yeah, 134, 136 West Maryland.
Yeah, that's the only thing that he's had a permit for.
I think somebody's living in one side of it.
I think there is. I informed him that he needed to have permits and stuff, but he's never come down to make application.
Maybe you better go over by.
Yeah,
I think he's done more than the porch.
yeah, I think so.
Anyhow, Mayor, I appreciate all your work you've did in this. I mean, I know it's a long, tedious process, and I think hopefully the last 5 we have on there, the land bank will eventually take ownership and we can take them down.
Yes, it's in the hands of the prosecutor now.
Yes. I don't know if this is the right time to mention, so of course, everybody heard me ranting and raving before the meeting tonight. The bowling alley has collapsed, as we suspected it was going to. Myself personally, I don't think we should go in there and clean it up. I think the building department from Mahoning County should be notified. They should be here tomorrow to inspect it. And they have the adjudication order, so they have to force the prosecutor's office hand to drag these people into court to get them to clean this mess up. I mean, I don't have a problem with us cleaning it up, because if it's in our alleyway, but I still think the building department should be here before we clean it up. That way they see what we're dealing with here.
Okay.
I mean, that's my personal opinion, but I will leave the judgment call up to you, because you're tasked with the safety of the community.
Just to supplement Councilman Wright's information, I was advised this afternoon by the police department and later by Bill Sainer that the rec building had come down. I've already contacted John Shoney. That letter, that email went out.
So for the health department.
This afternoon to let him know, and I'll be a follow-up phone call tomorrow with him. I did ask Bill to secure the alley because it is a public right-of-way.
Yep.
I want to make sure that, you know, it was barricaded off and was properly done so that, you know, the motoring public didn't use it. My only concern, and I agree that it's not our responsibility to clean that up, it's property owner's responsibility to clean it up. My only concern, and I did talk to Bill about it this afternoon, is if it comes across the public right-of-way, we have an obligation to keep that open. He was scheduled to do that first thing tomorrow. We would only remove that portion that's in the right-of-way and nothing else. Obviously, what we can do is we'll make a notation of how much that cost in material, labor, and equipment, and we can always bill the property owner. But if I can get a hold of John Shoney, we'll do some photo documentation tomorrow, and I'll send that off to John to supplement my email. So
And while
we're on top of that.
Yeah, and while you're talking to him, would you also, the Shooty building, they are actually physically working out of that building. On the back side off of 17th Street, they are working in 2 bays of that building. I don't understand, it's supposed to be there's not supposed to be no activity over there.
It's kind of weird because John Shooty, and I think council members got a copy of that.
Yes.
That the J&S properties, that, you know, he's very much aware, the health department is on that case. He's talked to the powers that be of the county to do something about forcing either the demo or the clearing of the property, and certainly the removal of the debris. So he may not be aware of that, but I know that he was in town a week or 2 ago. I did talk to him in my office, and one of the things he was re-inspecting was the J&S property. So
Yeah, and that building has come down even furthermore, the roof between 16th and 17th Street. You know, they've kind of focused on the back, the northeast corner, but the southwest corner is also very, very, and it's going to end up in the roadway eventually because that's the way it's leaning.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, and it did fall in the alley, that one brick wall.
Yes.
But fortunately, it was not an alley. It's an alley on the books, but it actually
It's
is
not
not
a
a functional
dedicated,
alley
yeah,
yet.
we
So, I know that John's working on it. I mean, I did
All
talk
right.
to him, and he said he was working on putting pressure. and he
but would you
talked
just
to-
ask him about them being able to actually physically work inside that building?
Yep.
Because that may move the process along a little bit. Because I think those buildings they're working in are attached, but I think they still have good roofs on them. I mean, there's not, but I can guarantee you almost every day I go home, today was the first day I did not physically see a truck there. But there's normally a white Chevy crew cab pickup truck backed in there. And it's not there in the mornings when I leave to go to work, but it's normally there in the evenings when I come home.
I'll talk to John when I talk to him about the rec building collapse.
I appreciate
at the
it.
same time. No problem.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll make sure he gets, if I get feedback from John, I'll make sure it's in my Friday report.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah,
Sure.
I have one also, not to add fuel to the fire.
It's okay.
Fire's
There is
burning
there is a building on West Maryland, I think it's in the 300 block. It's a long brick building, but the roof is also in on that garage.
It's a garage.
West
It's a
Maryland.
garage.
It's a garage, I believe. It's like a 3 or 4 bay.
Yeah.
I know where you're talking about.
Yeah, because that roof is also,
That's 200, that's the Rockwell garage.
Has a tree growing up in that loader.
yeah, I remember it was
Camera in the back
RDO's.
of it.
This was before
You're
that.
driving from the back of the alley.
Is that 200 block or 300?
300 block.
300 block on the south side.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll mention that to John as well.
I'll be on the north side.
Okay.
In line with that, since we're off track, Chief, would you give me the pictures of the bowling alley and the shooting building? Electronic, can you get the pictures and have Pam send them to me electronically?
Of the fallen wall?
Yes.
I have those on.
No, and the roof.
And the
We'll have
roof.
to take those ones. I mean, I can stop there tomorrow and take them if you, but
Okay.
if you want to get them, that
I
would
would
be
do it
great.
right, yeah,
I've
right
got
before
some
you
from
clean
the
it up.
summertime.
The worst.
Yeah.
Okay. I can send this in directly to the land bank for that report. Okay, let's move on.
Sorry, Mayor, I didn't mean to get us off
That's
track.
okay, I was gonna come up, that was a good place to do it. Service maintenance, Mr. Wright.
No meeting, Mayor.
Safety, Mr. Flowers.
No meeting, but we will figure out a meeting
Okay.
soon.
Park and Rec, Mr. Flowers.
No meeting. They will be having a meeting on the 8th, hopefully,
Okay.
but nothing guaranteed.
Planning and zoning, Mr. Abrick.
Nothing to report.
Civil service, Ms. Phillips.
No meeting.
Fireman's Dependency Board was last Saturday, and I was there, and we kept the same officers as the previous years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just a quick notation, I was out of town.
Okay.
I stopped in there today. Bill Williams wasn't there. I'll be in tomorrow to sign that paper.
Okay.
So, but I was out of town when they scheduled that for that Saturday.
Okay.
I couldn't make it.
We got it taken care of,
Yeah.
Mr. Hart. Okay. Veterans Memorial, Mr. Wright,
No meeting, Mayor.
and the Detention Committee is still on hold.
I can report, I think that department heads are pretty much ready to go.
Okay.
Malia, I'm not sure about the office records. I think the ladies are ready as well.
I don't know.
I'll double check. I know, I talked to Mabel, I think she had everything ready to go too. So we could probably, at the mayor's discretion, if he wants to set up maybe a retention committee meeting sometime in February, I think we're probably ready to go.
Okay. I'll just check with Mr. Knowles and see if he's available to do that during the day. Okay. I think that takes care of our council committees and council reports. Managers report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The legislation, there's only one item of legislation before council tonight, and that's to appropriate the following funds. Village solicitor's hospitalization line item needs a supplement of $9,000 due to additional unanticipated unbudgeted medical expenses from 2018 budget. The fire department capital budget, 301 fire levy funds, we need to make an appropriation of $34,424.65. That's to make the second payment for the fire, or the ambulance that we bought last year. And as council knows, it's a case-by-case basis on the 301 fund. Our engineers have submitted the final revisions of the mandated corrosion control study. You know, it says today, that was last Friday. It's our hope that EPA will approve this amended documentation. I think this is our 5th attempt. Every time we get approvals, they kind of move the ball on us and we have to redo it. So I'm hopeful that in 2 weeks we will get an approval, and then we will send the letter regarding orders 4 through 7. I know council's heard me talk about that for the last 6 months, but I think we're at the finish line. Knock on wood. After careful review of candidate profiles and interview notes, Director Sainer selected Mr. Nick Sainer to fill a vacancy in the service department. I do want to mention that Mr. Nick Sainer is not a relative of Mr. Bill Sainer. His effective appointment will be January 24th after he completes his 2-week notice to his current employer, which I guess he starts Wednesday.
Thursday.
Terrific. We replaced, as the mayor mentioned, we replaced the old, as Mr. Hart mentioned, we've replaced the old metal door at the back of the police station. The frame is badly rusted and corroded, and there's a big hole on the bottom letting the weather and the mice in. So I think Pam's thrilled not to have critters running around the police station now, so that's been done. I forwarded an update of the 2018, that was for fiscal year 2017, real estate and taxable value worksheets for the village. That's done by Mahoning County. That's the way council could see roughly what the village values are worth for this session, and they appear to be pretty much commensurate to the last couple of years, so same, right on target. Due to the recent severe weather, we issued a parking ban for several days. That was when we first got hit with a big storm. It's been lifted, and the service department, and certainly my office, appreciates and thanks everyone in the community for their help with the snow and ice control efforts, so that's appreciated. As the mayor mentioned in a supplement to the land bank report, we issued 2 demolition permits to Weir Construction hired by Mahoning County Land Bank. That's for the following properties: 143 West Georgia Avenue. Estimated demolition date is supposed to be starting
Today.
today.
It's down.
It's
It's down, wow, that's super fast work, okay, I haven't done it. Also, 547 West New York Avenue, and that's supposed to set for demolition on the 24th of January, which is Wednesday. Also, Mr. Clay Hicks, Housing Disposition Manager for the Land Bank, advised my office on Thursday that they recently acquired properties in Sebring and requested utility shut-offs for pending demolitions. Those addresses are 147 South 15th Street and 346 East Vermont Avenue. So I don't have a specific demo date for those properties yet.
No, I don't think so.
Also, for the benefit of the public, I did make a list of the discussion topics that we had in the workshop. I'm not going to go over those, but that's part of the report, if you'd like to see those. Also, in order to meet OEPA's required installation of an emergency pre-post hypo feed system, I approved last week the purchase of a PTS chemical feed system, which combines metering pump, tank, gauge, injection quill, tubing. That's to deliver sodium hypochlorite into the water system, and in the event that it would be needed, it's an emergency fallback measure. Approximate cost for the unit is about $2,000, so that meets their requirement, and it should be good to go shortly. We also had to replace some heating units in the filter room. Lowest and best quote was $2,500, so we're moving forward to that. And the 4 heaters in the chemical pump room were not working due to frozen lines and a failed motor, and they have been repaired and fully operational. Correct, Carl? Okay, good. I'll make sure everything's working as exactly it needs to. I did want to give council a heads up. You will have an additional appropriation legislation probably in the first meeting or second meeting of February. It's covered 2 sets of expenses. Normally we don't have appropriation ordinances this time of year, but there was some unanticipated costs. One was the recalculated payout earn time for Officer Guy's estate. That's per policy, and that's in the amount of $10,929.05. Also, there is a contractual obligation, invoices for various projects to Quicksall Engineering for a total of $50,369.71. A pretty good chunk of that has already been pre-budgeted, so I'll have to recalculate and let you know what additional appropriations are may be necessary. One was for the corrosion control study, which is completed, so that's a fixed cost, and that's the end of that project once it's paid, hopefully with the approval. General services agreement, that's just to keep an opening contract in case we need their services. The emergency generator project, which they actually mapped everything out, is just a matter of finding grant funding to pay for $150,000 we need for the units, which we don't have yet. I'm working on it. And also the completed well and geologic surveys that we had done. There's a balance for that. So I think Councilman Alvarez, you probably got some fun light reading with that.
Started into it. It's gonna take a bit.
There are some, and that's something maybe at a future date I can go over committees with, just to kind of give you an overview of that geologic survey. There are some viable sites, but it's definitely going to require a funding package, hopefully grant paid for, in order to do some test drilling in a couple areas. So if that's viable, I think that might be a real solution to our long-term alternative water supply, so, and which EPA wants anyway, so. Also, I did, as we mentioned, I forwarded latest reports on properties from the Mahoning County Health Department that Mr. Shoney has been working on at 698 West Ohio, West Georgia and 16th Street, which is the commercial property of JSI Properties that Councilman Wright mentioned, and also 836 South 13th Street. And there's no sense covering item 12, that's the rec building that collapsed. Mr. Mayor, that concludes my formal report.
836 is the Woody Apartments.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. For those of you who don't know him, Mr. Carl Reed is our new water plant superintendent. Nice to have you here tonight.
Thank you.
He's been a real asset to the operations, and things are going very well, so. I knew you've been here for over a year, but welcome anyway. But I know they've been keeping you busy.
First time here.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank
Anything
you.
else under manager's report? If not, moving right along. Report of other village officials, since the solicitor isn't here. I have a couple things for you. Mr. Finch, would you like to give your report, or would you like me to do it?
That's fine, Chris.
I don't care.
You can handle it.
Okay. This is for 2017, building permits fees were $34.68. Contractor registrations was $6,100. Total income was $9,568. Expenditures was $6,051,518. And that leaves a balance in the black of $3,049.05.
Which I probably already spent.
The Fair Housing Board met on January the 15th at 10 o'clock. For 2018, Judy Snyder was elected chairperson, and Rosemary Lee was elected vice chairperson. They set their next meeting for, I have that someplace, January 21st of 2019, unless the call of the chair requires another meeting. And for council members, whether you're newly elected or been here for a while, or whatever the case may be, there is a training program coming up. And there's several different locations. And if I remember correctly, the nearest one is Independence. And March 24th, March 3rd, February 24th, March 3rd. March 21st is the one in Independence, and that's right off of 480 as you're going into Cleveland. It's not bad, you just take 14 all the way up. And I have been to several of these, and they are usually excellent. If you go, the city usually pays for your attendance and your expenses for the day, and I would encourage you to take your charter with you. They will spend a lot of time on home rule, explaining to you what home rule is, what home rule can do, and what home rule can't do, but they will not get into your charter very much. They will spend an awful lot of time explaining what a charter can do compared to what a statutory city has to do. And it was very enlightening. It's from 1 to 4, and they usually don't run much over, I can tell you. I think you would find it to be a good 3 hours of your time while I'm vested. Anything else? Anybody else have any under other business? Ordinances and resolutions.
Mayor, I would make a motion to read ordinance 01-2018 by title only with the emergency clause.
Second.
I have a motion by Harp, seconded by Wright to read title, or ordinance 01-2018 by title only with the emergency clause. Comments? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Phillips.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Harp.
Aye.
Flowers?
I know. See Flowers.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
Nestle. Okay.
Okay, motion carries. Okay. This comes from Finance Committee, and this is Councilmember Harp. And this is an ordinance authorizing and directing the municipal manager to appropriate the necessary funds to cover expenses and declaring an emergency. Having heard the ordinance read by title only with the emergency clause, council, what's your pleasure?
Make a motion, we adopt the ordinance as read with the emergency clause.
Second.
Motion by Harp, second by Phillips to adopt as read with the emergency clause. Questions or comments? Mr. Harp?
Yes, Mayor, under questions or comments, it has already been stated by the manager that this ordinance provides payment of $34,425 dollars that would go into the fire fund, and also $9,000 to go into the hospital fund.
Okay. Other questions or comments? The 34,425 is the payment on the ambulance, and the $9,000 would be the solicitor's share of her hospitalization. There's no other questions, clerk call the roll.
Phillips.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Harp.
Aye.
Flowers.
Aye.
Sebring.
Aye.
Motion carries, ordinance is adopted as presented with the emergency clause.
That's responsible.
We have two citizens' comment sessions, one at the beginning of the meeting, one towards the end of the meeting. I ask if any citizen wishes to address the council at this time. Hearing none, any other business?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Just for your information, for year-end, on the CFF Community Fellowship and Food, which you guys have been involved with, I appreciate that. We put on year-end 22 meals last year, and varied from 130 to 250 people at each meal. And it's your community. We have 9 churches involved now, both Hospital, Salem, and Alliance do. Copeland puts on 2 meals for us. The Sebring Teachers Association puts on a meal for us. I'm looking for the council to put on a meal for us someday. So, but yeah, the community is involved, and all your local churches, and Smith Township, Butler Township, and Knox Township churches come into town. And we had one tonight. The mayor was there, and he'll attest to
The mayor don't miss me, I'll tell you. It's good eating. A lot of good people.
Thank you for letting us
It's
know.
not in food, it's the getting to know
Right.
your community. And someday when you go back to your summer hours, I will be asking you to come down and department heads help serve and meet your community again.
We'll be glad to do that, I'm
Yep.
sure. We look forward to that.
This is our 9th year, so make it through another year.
It's the only time I can get Mr. Wright to do anything.
Mayor, I make a motion, we adjourn.
Wait a minute. For once, I have other business here.
Oh.
Too late.
I didn't hear.
I didn't hear a second.
Neither did I. Go ahead, Ken.
At some time over the last couple of years, we have discussed the possibility of putting some funds into some renovations for City Hall.
Yes.
Is that something we still want to do? The lights have been flickering every time we're here. We could use some paint. I mean, when was the last time we did anything to City Hall?
The last time we asked to have it done, basically. And nothing,
The doors.
well,
The
you know,
doors.
from,
The
we
doors
can't
to
take
the
up
person.
the floor because of asbestos
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
cost
The
there.
roof's
But
leaking.
to have it scrubbed and waxed.
Yeah. And the roof's
And
leaking.
the painting, and I didn't know the roof was leaking again.
Just
Yeah.
started.
Well, we had somebody,
Well,
and that's
that's-
from the ice shift.
That's
but
on the
Yeah.
ice.
That's from the ice shift. I mean, that's brand new
I mean-
homes have had that this week.
A couple things on that. In 2015, council authorized $25,000 for internal renovations. And that was kind of late 2015, and we were going to gear up to start looking at and talking about what exactly we were going to fix for 2016. As you know, 2016 was a rather busy year, and it got backburnered, and the money that was earmarked got paid to other expenses. I'm just telling the story. But I agree. I mean, we can do some
Well, I
other,
mean,
I've had some of the ballasts replaced several times. Bill can tell you that. It's just,
Well, my whole thing is if the money is better suited for something else, that's fine with me, but if we have money, to- I don't want this building falling down around us. I mean, it's not ready to, but I mean, we,
Ken, I can tell you,
It's more cosmetic maintenance than anything. I think.
I've been here since '08, and we've replaced some windows because we had to.
We replaced the doors.
We replaced the doors because we had
had to, right.
Other than that, the last major renovation of this building took place the first year of the famed Kennels administration. And that would have been 1996.
96. So,
what we could do is, I
20
mean,
some years ago.
21, 22 years ago.
I think some just, maybe some general maintenance, some of the, going over the electrical, and then perhaps perhaps a replacement of the carpets and fresh paint. I mean, I don't think you're gonna have a huge expenditure, but I think it'll make quite a bit of difference.
Just a thought, that's all.
And like Marvin said, am I gonna fall backwards out of this chair when you sit down? And I said, possibility.
A little scary.
Well, I'm more than, if council wants me to look into that, I'm more than happy to do that. However, when it comes to council chambers carpet, I'm going to let you pick the carpet.
Would that be service maintenance?
I don't think so. That'd be finance. Mr. Hart gets to pick the color.
I really think it should be office staff, fix colors and flooring.
I would be fine with that, Mayor. They have to deal with it every day. We just have to deal with it every
That's good taste.
second and fourth Monday and some committee meetings.
So if we opt for purple with orange polka dots, you're gonna be.
Well, if you put a Trojan head out there in the middle of the floor kennel, he will probably kiss you right here.
I'd be okay with that too, so.
Okay, all right.
We would
start
agree
with
with
Mr.
Mayor.
Hart, I do have one question. Last council meeting, or it was at the workshop, that David asked for a list out of the service department and any other department that needed, or desperate, I'd say, for certain things. My question off of that would be, is there anything in the water office, copiers, or anything like that that we are going to look to have to put money out toward?
Yeah, there are some. There's gonna be probably some future upgrades in software. I know that Diane was having some, we had a maintenance guy come in and repair the cash register for $100. It was acting a little peaked last week, so we had that fixed. There's some office machinery that needs to be replaced.
Our new garage. We don't even have a water
I think
meter.
I've asked the ladies in the office whether they wanted to upgrade their chairs, because those chairs have probably been there 15, 20 years, and we did replace several, mostly for, I mean, they sit there all day for ergonomic benefits, so I did replace some of those.
What about the one handheld meter for,
The one handheld meter, we already know that's aware of it. I was waiting for the beginning of this fiscal year. We're going to replace
Okay,
that,
good.
so that had, Diane had mentioned that to me in December. I said, let's just wait till we get into 2018 and we can do that. So, yeah, there are little things that need to be replaced. We'll probably put a master list together and figure out how much. but-
I'd be interested.
Bill put together a list of his vehicles, so that was nice. Thanks for the list, Bill.
I could probably fund those other vehicles if you can just do the backhoe work by hand.
Shovels. We can buy a lot of people for $150,000.
Big shovels, But,
I don't operate any.
That's why you're the supervisor. Every job needs one.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion to adjourn on the floor by Avery and seconded by Wright. Clerk call roll.
Phillips.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Flowers.
Aye.
Avery.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
since I put all the money in